Mhm. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Let me get my stuff together real quick. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. All right. About to be starting just a second here. So give me just a second, please. Starting just a second here. Shabbat shalom. All right. About to get going. About to get going. All right. Ready to roll. Ready to roll. Ready to roll. All right. Ready to roll. All right. Abiyah, thank you for this Shabbat. Thank you for this opportunity to minister. May your words come out of my mouth. May I bring forth edification to your people and clarity on this topic. May I not be partial. May I not be biased. May I not share my opinion only. May I line up with your word and give forth what you want to be seen out of the text. Thank you for the Shabbat. Thank you for the rest that I've received. Yada Yahuwah. All right. So today, I want to deal with looking the part isn't enough. Character is more than meets the eye. So I don't know. I know for a fact I don't look the part. A lot of my background would say I don't fit the role. Cool. But there was a moment in time that Yahuwah allowed me to see that he called me, that he pre-assigned me to be a watchman, to be an observer as well as one to share my perspective. And a lot of times I do a poor job of it because it seems as if I'm biased or I'm speaking as if I'm the authority over all when I've only had a limited vantage point. So I want to clean that up a little bit or try to, but I want to do so with a proper way of looking at things and showing how I should be looking at things. So let's start off here. Let's start off. I'm gonna start off sharing my screen. And oh, not where I want to be, but okay. Starting off in Proverbs or Mishle 11. It says a false scale is an abomination to Yahuwah, but a perfect weight is his delight. Pride comes, then comes shame, but with the humble is wisdom. The integrity of the straight ones guides them, but the slipperiness of the treacherous destroys them. Personally, I always try to operate in integrity, have my word be my bond. So even though I don't look the part, I'm this big dude that some people have called me the big black man. I don't try to be threatening or try to impose my will on people by how I look. But let's keep going. Waikra, Leviticus 19. Do no unrighteousness in right ruling. Do not be partial to the poor or favored to the face of the great, but rightly rule your neighbor in righteousness. Do not go slandering among your people. Do not stand against the blood of your neighbor. I am Yahuwah. Do not hate your brother in your heart. Reprove your neighbor for certain and bear no sin because of him. Man, you're supposed to deal with people right. When it comes to me doing business and stuff, again, I've said it many times. I would rather come out at a loss than to discredit my integrity and my name and discredit Yah, who I represent. I don't want anybody to think that I'm using my faith in Yah for an advantage to rob somebody or take advantage of them or do wrong towards them. Though I operate as a minister, I don't sit out there asking for donations. Never seen me do that. I work a job. Though many people have received from my hands and stuff like that, people always seeking out from my hand, you know, I've been told that I'm lacking compassion because a lot of times I've helped, but then the helping has to stop. I have to be a good steward. I have responsibilities of my own. And I'm like a slack hand to me, a person who refused to work. A lot of times I have people that are in better shape physically, mentally, they may not be, but physically in their age, they're younger. And yet they want my labor to basically take and support them. I'm like, come on, I'm finna be 54. I'm up getting older, and I have to set aside something. It's only wisdom for me to take care of my wife, my children, and my grandchildren and set up something for my own. But I do still take care of others sometimes. But it's like, man, they put a heavy on you and make it as if, you know, it's my obligation to give up everything to their and it's like, okay, where are you working? What are you doing? And I don't want to be harsh and lack compassion, but man, I have to be balanced and take care of my responsibilities and then, help others. But let me keep going. Let me keep going. All right. Share my screen again. Because, this is just the foundation. I'm going to get something somewhere else and show some things. But Debris Hayamim Bet, or Second Chronicles 19, starting with what says verse 7. It says, and now let the fear of Yahuwah be upon you. Guard and do it. Shamar and do it. For there is no unrighteousness with Yahuwah or Elohim, no partiality, nor taking of bribes. There's no going along to get along either. You need to be doing what's righteous despite the peer pressure of others. Let me keep going. Job 34, Job 34, it says 17. Should the one who hates right ruling govern? Look at America and ask this question. Should the one who hates right ruling govern? Or would you declare a most righteous one wrong? It's a lot of times that those that are over you, they are not right, but yet they govern and run what you're dealing with. Maybe it's your employer or whatever. And a lot of times they're dealing with people who are actually operate in righteousness, but they're the ones declared wrong. Who should say to a sovereign, Bilia Yao, to nobles, wrong one? Who is not partial to princes? See, a lot of people I deal with are partial to people who are educated, partial to people who have a lot of resources. no regards to the rich more than the poor, for they are all works of his hands. The rich and the poor both are the works of Yah's hand. But just because somebody has resources and money, they shouldn't get a difference given to them on matters, especially when it comes to integrity. You know, you should not be automatically guilty just because you're impoverished or poor, and automatically innocent because you have wealth. And that's also to the reverse. Just because they have wealth doesn't mean that they're automatically guilty. Doesn't mean that the poor are automatically innocent. Got to have right scales. Keep going. Deborah, Deuteronomy 10:17. For Yahuwah your Elohim is Elohim of mighty ones. So that, you know, when it comes to these leaders and sovereigns and kings and stuff, Elohim is over the poor and the wealthy. He's over the masters as well as those under the master. So for Yahuwah, your Elohim is Elohim of mighty ones and master of masters, the great El, mighty and awesome, who shows no partiality nor takes a bribe. He executes right ruling for the fatherless and the widow and loves the stranger, giving him food and garment. This part right here means a lot. It's a text in the book that tells us that we, supposed to love the Edomite because they're our brother. But there are so many that teach hating the Edomites is okay. They have to come up under us. Definitely. They have to submit to the authority of those of Israel. That's order. But they are our brother. We're not supposed to hate them, especially if they operate in Torah. If they're outside of Torah, that's a whole different narrative. But if they're functioning in Torah and they're not operating in a colonizing mindset, they're not stealing, killing, and robbing, but they're honoring Torah, what's the problem? Why are you rejecting them? Why are you not being as Yah is to you, who is of Israel, but has definitely walked outside of your character that he wants you in? Come on. Most of us know that we have wickedness in our past. I'll be the first to say for me, yes, I have wickedness in my past. I try now to walk more in integrity and character, especially what he has said of me, what he's seen before anybody else seen. But let me keep going. Michelle, Proverbs 20. Differing rates are an abomination to Yahuwah, and a false scale is not good. The steps of a man are from Yahuwah. Man, I had many missteps, but my proper steps are from Yahuwah. What does a man know about his own way? I would have never guessed that I would have gotten to this point. I actually thought I was going to be dead by 18 or before 21. I'm 53, about to be 54. I don't know nothing about my steps. I didn't expect to be here. But yet, I thought to take my own life in 2001. And he told me no, that I was his property, that I belonged to him, and that I was pre-assigned for something bigger and better, that my latter days would be greater than those days then. Then I was in my first marriage having struggles, and no way in the world saw these 23 years of marriage that I'm in now. No way. No way expected to have more children, but I did. But keep going. Let's keep going. Acts 10, or Mosiah 10. And opening his mouth, Kepha said, truly I see that Elohim shows no partiality, but in every nation, he who fears him and works righteousness is accepted by him. in every nation. When you get to that Revelation 7, yes, you see that 144,000, but you also see a multitude after that. That's the hierarchy. Those the rulers over the kingdom. But those of other nations, they will no longer claim their nations, but they would have to come under and cleave to Israel. So, but in every nation, he who fears him, those who walk in the Torah, who fears him and works righteousness is accepted by him. He sent the word to the children of Israel, bringing the good news, peace through Yahusha Messiah. He is master of all, not just Israel, master of all. If you go to Exodus 19, 4 through 6, you see that Israel's to be the royal priesthood. But the question you got to ask, priests over who? Who are they priests towards? They work for Yah, but who are they being priests towards? Who are they over? Keep going. Michelle, Proverbs 16. Start at 6. It says, by loving commitment and truth, crookedness is pardoned. And in the fear of Yahuwah, one turns away from evil. When a man's ways please Yahuwah, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. Better is a little with righteousness than a large income without right ruling. Being wealthy without righteousness is an interesting thing. So a man's heart plans his way, but Yahuwah establishes his steps. An oath is on the lips of the sovereign. In right ruling, his mouth trespasses not. A right scale and balances are of Yahuwah. All the weights in the bag are his work. It is an abomination for sovereigns to commit wrongness, for a throne is established by righteousness. Righteous lips are the delight of sovereigns, and they love him who speaks what is straight. All right. Let's keep it moving. Stop this just for a second. So what I'm gonna get on is this. What I'm gonna get on this. I want to show you something. We know that, or if you've read, I can't speak for everyone because everybody may not know it, but those who have read know by the text that Yahuwah is said to know the end from the beginning. So if he knows the end from the beginning and he's not a respecter of person, those who he appoints and anoints to do a duty are those that he knows have the character and the integrity to uphold what he has placed in them. We all have it placed in us the ability to be good or evil, to obey or disobey, but that choice is ours. But he knows who will make that choice. Some of us, nah, we're going to choose selfishness. But let's go and talk about one of our ancestors real quick and show you what that ancestor heard about himself and did not recognize about himself until Yah pointed out about him. Okay, Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah 1. The words of Yirmiyahu, the son of Hiliyahu, Yahu, of the priests who were in Anathoth, in the land of Benjamin, to whom the word of Yahuwah came in the days of Yoshiyahu, son of Ammon, sovereign of Yehuda, in the 13th year of his reign. It came in the days of Joachim, son of Yosiyahu, sovereign of Yehuda, until the end of the 11th year of Sediyahu, son of Yoshiyahu, sovereign of Yahuwah, into the exile of Jerusalem in the fifth new moon. Now the word of Yahuwah came to me, who was me, that's Yirmiyahu, saying, before I formed you in the belly, I knew you. And before you came out of the womb, I did set you apart. I appointed you a prophet to the nations. And I said, I, and said I, excuse me, and said I, Master Yahuwah, see, I do not know how to speak, for I'm a youth. I've told many people in my youth I stuttered and stuff like that, and I was definitely not comfortable speaking in front of people. I'm not one that has charisma like that. That's not my gifting. And I'm not one that's chosen by many people. But again, when Yah chooses you, it don't matter. It doesn't matter if the people choose you. That right there is something that you got to get past. You got to let go. Jeremiah was not comfortable in this position at all. But again, what did he be told? He was told directly that Yah chose him. Yah set him in that position. He was a youth. Modernly, youth get kind of disrespected. We got a lot of elders out here, Zakins and stuff like that, that, they basically were doing it in Christianity. So they jump over to this Israelite thing and they act like they're supposed to just automatically jump to leadership. They have a problem with the youth. People who have not experienced Christianity or basically had schooling and stuff like that. But Yah knows some of them, many of them, from the womb. And Yahuwah said to me, do not say I am a youth, but go to whom I send you and speak whatever I command you. I've seen many of you modernly get discouraged because, a lot of the elders are telling them, who called you? I've been doing this all my life, so they challenging them. But hopefully these youth hold to their position and that Yah has told them to go forth. And they don't get discouraged, because it can be discouraging when people don't have your back or people don't acknowledge you or encourage you. They don't praise you. And not that we're seeking praise, whatever, but when you say good, it's tell somebody good job, that in itself, motivates them to keep going. A lot of times, you hear backhanded compliments more so than compliments towards people. That's not to their benefit. And a young person, even an old person, can get discouraged, but a person lacking any type of acknowledgement that they're doing right can easily be believing that they're doing wrong. Do not fear their faces, for I am with you to deliver you, declares Yahuwah. Then Yahuwah put his hand and touched my mouth. You don't hear me stuttering as much. How did that come about? Did not Yah, who does not show any partiality, have something to do with it? Is it possible that he put his hand and touched my mouth? And it says, and Yahuwah said to me, see, I have put my words in your mouth. Many people, I have a big mouth. I talk a lot. But is it possible that Yah has put his words in my mouth? See, I have this day set you over the nations and over reigns to root out and to pull down, to destroy and to overthrow and to build and to plant. He's speaking to Yirmiyahu, but has he not spoken to some of you, the youth out there, and told you that you are supposed to lead people? You're supposed to speak to some of these assemblies of people and take leadership. It may be some older folks in the position, but Their time is going to come to a close, and are you going to be ready to step in those positions? They may look for somebody with gray hair, somebody with gray beard, but Yah may be moving you to the position. Are you ready? I believe my age to be beyond the age of leadership over a large group of men, but I'm here to guide and direct and give encouragement to those that are younger. See, I have set you this day over nations, over reigns, to root out and to pull down, to destroy and to overthrow, to build and to plant. And the word of Yahuwah came to me saying, what do you see, Yirmiyahu? And I said, I see a branch on an almond tree. I'm going to stop right there. A branch is a smaller part of the tree. The youth of a person is the smaller part of them. And as they grow, they get bigger. The fruit is on that branch. The almond tree, the fruit is on that branch. A lot of times we killing off the fruit beforehand because we cutting off that branch or tearing down the youth. Yes, the old are the roots are the old. The stump, the bottom part are the old. But we gotta encourage them branches to reach out so that fruit can come up off of them. And they grow and become bigger branches, able to hold more weight. Just like we are the older, firm in the ground, them branches have to become firm in their position as well. We need to be encouraging the youth, especially those that are walking in integrity, showing character of Yah, walking in Torah. Thing is, we can't keep using our eyes and looking at them. Oh, they just young. Yes, we need to look at and see the works that they're doing. True. But we can't discredit them because they're young. We see youth in them. What does their walk show? What is their fruit showing? Where can we encourage? Where can we build them up? Let me show you how our eyes have worked as Israel. Let me keep going. I'm gonna go keep going and show you how our eyes, how us looking at stuff has affected us in how we move. Let me keep going. Now, Yah has always wanted to be our sovereign and our king, but we as a people wanted to be like other nations, and we chose a king. They chose a king in Israel instead of keep staying with the prophets and the high priests that Yah has set. Israel at a time chose Saul. And let's see why they chose Saul. Shemuel, Aleph, 1 Samuel 9. And there was a man of Benjamin, whose name was Kish, son of Abiel, son of Zorar, son of Bechorath, son of Aphiah, a Benjamite, a mighty man of power. And he had a son whose name was Shaul, young and handsome. Now, he was young, but he was handsome. He was big. And there was not a more handsome man than he among the children of Israel, taller than any of the people by the shoulders and upwards. He was handsome. He was big. But what was his character like? No, he looked the part. That mattered a lot to them. He looked the part. I'm not going to read anymore because I hope you've read about Saul. I'm not going to read any more about this. I'm going to go into telling you about this man. So This man looked the part. He was actually doing the job, handling the business. But Samuel, the previous leader, whose sons were wicked, whose sons got judged by the people to be not worthy to lead over them because them sons was wicked, and that's why they asked for a king. They got their king, and their king is still being guided. You have the elderly Samuel guiding him. That's what the elder people are supposed to do. He's giving him great advice, giving him direction from Yah. But of course, he the king. He get to make the decisions on what he does. He can heed or not heed information. He can get it in his ears and hear it, but what he does is up to him. Shemuel gave him direction from Yah. You go out and you battle these people, and I want you to destroy everything. Get rid of it. But the people, if Shemuel decided, uh, that's a good looking goat. That's a good, they start keeping what they thought was good. They even didn't kill one of the leaders, held him to the side. This displeased Yah, because that ain't what he told him to do. Shemuel came in and let him know, oh no, you ain't do what you were told to do. Oh, but the people, they wanted to give an offering to, he like, y'all didn't ask for offering. And when is a sacrifice greater than an obedience? Samuel took it upon him. He killed that king, dealt with that king, and he like, man, disappointed in you, disappointed in you. You know what was given to you, this rulership over Israel, it's going to be taken from you. So of course, that's being set in motion. Let's go there. Let's see it's being set in motion because it didn't happen immediately, but it happened. But let's see how this went about. And I'm going to show you again the eyes, what people be looking at, what they be seeing. They be judging things with their eyes and not by the works and not by the integrity and not by the standards of Yah. Looking, again, the part is not enough. Character is more than meets the eye. So let me go and share my screen. I basically showed you a lot of text before showing that Yah is not partial. But men, we biased in the mug. We let, charisma win us over character. Oh, he speaks so well. We didn't heard that, so many times. And honestly, we choose things by the weirdest ways to me. But I don't think like everybody else. I'm a odd person, I'm like, we'll vote for a person that look like us, even though all this conversation shows he's not really with us. She's not really with us. Oh man, I'm voting for the black one. I don't consider myself black, but I'm voting for the one that look like me. I'm like, they can always prop up somebody that looks like us, but has their agenda in their mouth, has their agenda and plan operating. See how they were able to push homosexuality on us and we openly accept it. Something that we were never for, but we openly accepted because we took heed to who the messenger was. I'm like, shoot, they bring abortion to us and we run for that, because we consider the messenger the person looked like us. But anyway, let me get back to this. I'll share my screen again. Share my screen and finishing off. All right. Shemuel Aleph, 1 Samuel 16. And Yahuwah said to Shemuel, how long are you going to mourn for Shaul? Knowing that Shaul was no longer going to have Yah supporting his kingdom or his rule, Shemuel grieved at it. Seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Yasharel or Israel, fill your horn with oil. Like, it's time to anoint another king, another ruler. Fill your horn with oil and go. I am sending you to Yishai. We first learned it as Jesse, the Bethlehemite. For I have seen among his sons a sovereign for myself. This man got many sons. So, of course, let's see how this go. And Shemuel said, how would I go? When Shaul hears it, he shall kill me. And Yahuwah said, take a heifer with you and say, I have come to slaughter to Yahuwah. Man, this man, he's obedient to Yah, but he's scared. And you shall invite Yishai to the slaughtering. Then let me show you what to do. And you shall anoint for me the one I say to you. Look, the people chose that dude over there. I got somebody I'm choosing. Do what I say. Okay. And Shemuel did what Yahuwah said and went to Bethlehem. And the elders of the town trembled at his coming and said, do you come in peace? Because when the prophet comes, because remember, he used to be the ruler. They figuring, oh man, what he here for? And he said, in peace, in shalom, I have come to slaughter to Yahuwah. Set yourself apart. Hey, be holy, and you shall come with me to the slaughtering. Come on, get yourself in order, get your house in order, and come with me to the slaughtering. And he set Yeshi and his sons apart and invited them to the slaughtering. And it came to be when they came that he saw Eliab and thought, there go them eyes, or he looked apart and thought, the anointed of Yahuwah is indeed before him. He thought that was definitely going to be the one that Yah was going to choose because he looked apart. Remember, Saul looked apart. Shaul looked apart. But Yahuwah said to Shemuel, do not look at his appearance or at the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For not as man sees, for man looks at the eyes, but Yahuwah looks at the heart. Come on. Men have partiality. Men are biased. Charisma is enough for them over character. Man, he sure did preach. But did he live that? Did he walk that? Everything he talked, did he talk and walk? Come on. You got to judge a person by their walk more so than just what they talk. Don't be upset with a person off the words alone. Look at their life. Many of y'all out there talk this Torah, but are you living Torah? Come on. Then Yishi called Abinadab and made him pass before Shemuel. And he said, neither has Yahuwah chosen this one. See, the father is now showing which one he thought. Oh, it's got to be Abinadab. Next, Yishi made Shammah pass by. And he said, neither has Yahuwah chosen this one. Man, he going through these sons, picking them out. And Yishi made 7 of his sons pass before Shemuel. And Shemuel said, Yishi, Yahuwah has not chosen these. Man, these are my best sons. The ones that pleasing to my eyes. Come on, man. You ain't not one of these. And Shemuel said to Yishi, are these all the young men? And he said, there remains yet the youngest. Remember, I told you about them young ones. We keep looking down at the young ones. But Yahuwah is looking at this young one, the youngest. And see, he is tending the sheep. He's already showing he got leadership, but he tending the sheep. He leading the sheep. But he discredited by his father. Father wasn't even thinking about him. His father had presented 7 sons, like he wasn't even thinking about this last one. And by the looks of it, Shemuel wasn't thinking about him at first, but he knew once Yah told him, no, that them ain't it. He like, gotta be another one then, I guess. And Shemuel said to Yishai, send and bring him, for we do not turn round till he comes here. He on a mission. He following what Yah said. His own heart, he wanted to choose Abinadab. He wanted to choose one of these other sons. And he sent and brought him in, and he was ruddy. Y'all need to look up that word ruddy. Yeah, this is an off thing. That word right there, I think it's H132, I do believe. It's the same word that's used for red when it's talking about Esau. But that's a whole side note. That's a rabbit trail coming back. And he was ruddy with bright eyes and handsome. But he wasn't as big as all his other brothers. He's a little dude. And Yahuwah said, arise, anoint him. This is that one. This is that one. This is the one. Come on. Yahuwah was excited about this one because this was the one. I'm paraphrasing. I shouldn't be adding that. That's how I take it. That's the one. That's the one after my heart. That's the one. Y'all was looking at these other ones. That's the one. He probably dirtied in a mug because he out there with them sheep. He probably filthy. He ain't cleaned up because they just pulled him from doing what he was doing. He was out there shepherding the sheep. Call him in. He ruddy, bright eyes. So he lively, handsome though, but he ruddy. He come on. He out there with the sheep. So he probably smelling like the sheep, looking like. Come on. Arise, anoint him, for this is the one. And Shemuel took the horn of oil and anointed him right there in the midst of his brothers. So he got all his big brothers in front of him, the ones that they wanted to choose, and they got to see, man, this little dude, this little runt, but he got elevated in front of his brother. The right scales, the judgment came on him. Character, he has the character. He has the judgment come on him, not all his brothers. Probably going to be a problem with that. But, anyway, let's keep going. And the Ruach, the spirit of Yahuwah, came upon Dawid. Yada Yahuwah. Come on. You can't see spirit, but you can see fruit in somebody. The Ruach came on him. How do you know who Yah is called? People have told me over and over, you ain't called of Yah. How do you know? You don't know what relationship Yah has had with me. You don't know what Yah's had relationship he's had with the youth. Keep speaking ill of the youth that are walking in this Torah, that are teaching out here. Just because they don't fall up under some of these elders and zakims out here, these elders and zakims that came out of Christianity, so they done led a whole bunch of people to error, towards error. Man, they have shown that themselves to be leaders, but what were they leading people towards? This inexperienced person here, he was leading sheep. He wasn't leading men, but he becomes a great leader of men. Yah seen his potential, and Yah knew everything that was in him, and he put his spirit came upon him. You don't know who Yah has put his spirit in unless you asked him. Ask Yah. Before you start speaking negatively of these youth out here that's out here walking in Torah, ask Yah first. Before you put your mouth on them, ask Yah first. You don't know until you know. And the spirit of Yahuwah came upon Dawid from that day and onwards. And Shemuel arose and went to Ramah. And the spirit of Yahuwah turned aside from Shaul, and an evil spirit from Yahuwah troubled him. The anointing that he had on him, he still was anointed, but the guide now of the Ruach was no longer with him. An evil spirit now was governing and speaking and dealing with Shaul. That man still had the anointing. He still was in the appointed position, but he was going to have to concede that position soon, some way or another. He was going to lose that position, and he knew it. Didn't feel good. That's why if you keep reading, you'll see that he constantly wanted Dawid's life, because what he once had, the approval of Yah, it was given to another. Yah wasn't showing partiality. Shaul had that, but his disobedience had that removed. A lot of you older folks, yeah, y'all had that. But if you ain't walking in Torah, your disobedience has had his Ruach removed from you. You still in the position. You ain't lacking the charisma that you've been had, the education that you have. So yeah, you out there still doing the job, but you ain't doing it with the Ruach. You might want to move out of the way and let that young man that has the Ruach on him step up. The same young man that y'all knew from the beginning and from the womb, but you want to discredit him because of his youth, not realizing that Yah has put words in his mouth. Yah has ordered his steps, and it's his time. You've had your time. What did you do with it? If you led people into Christianity, if you view that Christianity as paganism, you have to take responsibility for what you did and stop using it as a badge of honor. Oh, I was faithful in ministry for 20, 30 years. What ministry was that? What were you ministering? You're a babe when it comes to this Israelite thing. A lot of y'all out here that have claimed years of ministry are babes to this Hebrew walk. And these young folks, some of them have been raised up in it. Though they may only be 25, their 25 years of life, they were raised up in this. It's some out there, some youth, that all they've known is Yahuwah. They didn't know God. All they've known is Yahusha. They didn't know Jesus, other than what other people said. That was not what they were raised up under. They didn't know Christianity. They knew being Israel. They have more time. They are actually more a Zakin in this walk, or elder in this walk, than you are. But you got the age and you look the part. I look the part. I'm leading in my home. I'm not trying to lead over people because I'm past the age. If you go into Leviticus, you'll see from 25 to 50 was the age of the Levitical ministry. Yeah, Moses was older than that. Aaron was older than that. That's how it started off. But when they started establishing the laws and actually walking according to it, that standard was set. I get it. We've been lost. So we don't really have those standards. But if we coming back to Torah, we need to start reestablishing those standards that were in place through the Torah. Yeah, it ain't gonna be a smooth transition, but there should be a transition. Stop looking at what it looked like and what it should be like, what it should be. I'm a watchman, regardless of what you say. So I'm on the wall screaming warnings. You're going to be prepared for the desert. You're going to be prepared for the wilderness. Are you going to be able to hear from the Ruach? Or are you going to have that evil spirit speaking to you because you have rejected obeying in order to sacrifice? Obedience is greater than sacrifice. They both should be complementary to one another, but some of you have put sacrifice before obedience. You look the part, but you ain't actually living the part. Abba Yah, thank you for this Shabbat. I thank you for this opportunity to minister. May I do more than just look the part, but I actually walk what I talk. I thank you for your word being done and your will being done on earth as it is in the Shamayim. I thank you for the Shabbat. I thank you for allowing my household to come up under your guidance as you have set me as head. Thank you for working in us work to offer fellowship as well as ministry to others, to be servants to your kingdom and to others. May your will be done always. Yada Yahuwah, Shabbat Shalom, Shanquil Yah, One Vision Ministry, Shanquilla Carter, One Vision Ministry. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.